I mean, I was appalled, and it was really upsetting. At one point in time, they tried to say that I used slave labor, and I guess maybe that was actually accurate and true. I was using slave labor, as I invented the term slavery as or salary. I turned and we turned slavery into salary. But like I said, someone else turned slavery. I believe it was the black people or someone, and you're gonna have to look through the history. Like I said, they didn't document their cruelty. Other people had to document their cruelty later on, but they didn't document their cruelty. And they tried to say that I was the one that did this. Like I say, they tried to say that at my slate yard, my LS slate yard, that it was all slavery and no one was paid anything, and or that that working conditions were appalling and horrible and this and that, and that I was a cruel whatever, and that it was run really horribly or whatever. I mean, they tried to say that Mount Rushmore was built by slaves and I don't know. They were saying all this stuff that wasn't true. And like I say, the records for Mount Rushmore were kept in the monument. Every man hour of every chiseler, every man hour of every explosives person was documented, and the records were kept, I believe, on metal plate and also paper. The paper wouldn't have lasted that long, so I think they had metal plates or something like that. Maybe they did have paper, I don't know. But the records from the laborers on Mount Rushmore were kept, and there are actually like 2 or 3 different revisions of Mount Rushmore that were done. There was some cracking and some chipping, and I wanted to have having the cracking and chipping filled and stuff like that to re-beautify, to make the Mount Rushmore look like it was. It didn't really matter what faces were carved on Mount Rushmore. It was just something to go see, something to look at, something neat. And like I say, in the old days, people would go there and pay like 25 cents or 5 cents to watch the explosions, because we were setting off some big explosives like every day, and a shockwave would ripple through the canyon and everything else like that. And they would shut off, and they would do like 3 or 4 detonations every single day. For a while there, and there was even a contest for explosives contest. Mix up your own explosive and test it out against the best. And I had one of the best explosives, and only once or twice did someone come up with something better, and every time the formula was bought and paid for, and I owned it. Like I said, it wasn't the American military, it was me, LS. It was my money and my people and my explosives. That's why I remember it. That's how I know it. They were my wagons. And one time, a team of people almost got frozen up in there. And people say, Brian, blah, blah, blah. Like, shut up. I hate those people. They're annoying. Anyway, the American government was trying to say that blah, 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 that this was all them. I mean, the German military kind of did the same thing, saying that it was all them, too. Like I said, what they did and what I did are different. My decisions and the things that I was directing to have done, are different than whatever. And besides, it's just like the Congress or JFK or some idiot or some congressman or someone that's like holding on, like I say, Rodney Briley too. He came in and was saying how blah 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 blah. He was like the real Lucifer Star, and I was his prodigy son or his son, and which is totally not true at all. That would be what they call a paradox, so even calling me human would be a paradox, because I mean, I existed before humanity, as in i.e. I'm the creator of humanity. You can't be the creator of the humanity and actually have been humanity. But you can create humanity and everything else and then come and live a life as a life form in humanity. IED, I'm Lucifer Star, the great epic creator, the one. And I did thousands of space missions, thousands of this, thousands of that, spent years and years and years with exoskeletons, 1.5s, and all the other life forms, or at least a fair amount of time. And it was fun. We did epic things together and built cities and planets and stuff like that. And then, like I said, I retired after so long. And I decided to live a life as a person. And like I said, as I was choosing a life, or going to live a life, like I say, Jimmy Carter and a bunch of other people were like, you will live through me, you will be inside of me, he is inside of me, blah blah blah. And I was like, you're sick, you're disgusting, you're twisted, and you're not me. Just because you sit behind my desk does not mean, and just because you're elected leader does not mean you are me, the Lucifer Starlight. Just because you sit in my Oval Office inside my White House does not mean you're me. And like I say, if you actually looked at it in time and space, what it was I had a perfect reputation. Absolutely perfect. I'd always been a person of my word. I'd always been ridiculously honest. And I had always been perfect. And I had not actually lived a life yet. I was more than that, and I was always busy, actually. Deciding what cities, what needs to be built, even as Brian, I decided the production values and production things. Like, let's make some of this, let's make some of that. I would like some of these metals made. I want to use some of that. And it was just using up my metal. I had stacks and stacks and stacks of gold and silver and copper and every kind of metal. And I was just, having some things made, like for me or for people, to sell or whatever. Just trinkets, little this, little that. That's why, when they were building the Panama Canal, they were giving out metal things. And, well, like I said, the top 100 people or 1,000 people got gold medals, basically. And then after that, there was a bunch of people got gold-plated medals. Everyone got something, though. And that was one of my things. I was trying to commemorate all the workers of Panama. So everybody got some kind of medal or something, with a date or something like that said, blah, 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 so their parents, so their children's children can have something. A lot of them ended up going to secondhand stores and little souvenir shops or stuff like that. And a lot of people sold them off, for like $100 or whatever. Anyway, they're kind of valuable, not that valuable though, because there were thousands or hundreds of thousands of people that worked on the Panama Canal, and it was a generation thing. But one of the last crews, one of the later on crews, and I think we commemorated it maybe more than once. I don't know. Anyway, though, I was, dates and years and basically commemorations and films and photographs, was always really big with me. I always like to reinforce the idea and the understanding that my people were doing something real, that my people were really taking a part in something that was going to make a difference in the future, not just something that was going to be done and then forgotten about. So anyway, I guess in a way, Lucifer Starline, I invented the whole concept of commemoration and celebration, and basically, saying thank you to all my people. Like I said, many of the Japanese swords, they were titanium swords and like really valuable. Not just valuable because I, granted them to these people. These people had done aqueducts or this or that, or led their people in some great way. And I had said, okay, give them a sword from blah, 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 and I had given them a commemorative sword. The value of the metal was worth quite a bit. And then there's also the value of the fact that it was me giving them that sword. Or having them, not personally giving it to them, someone else gave it to them in my place. But basically, it was being given on my authority. So, in the end, ridiculously valuable, like priceless, because, I am Lucifer Starline of the LSF colony ship and actual creator of 12 types of life and basically 12 or more galaxies or something like that of actual matter created. And then later on, even more than that, as basically my life forms were building more stars and stuff in my place, or in my name or something like that. So anyway, something I don't really know or remember, but we were building more matter, or making more matter possible in the galaxy or universe. It was a little project, to make more, so other life forms so there'd be plenty of room for everyone, basically, in the universe. I don't really know. So anyway, a whole lot of matter, and like I said, in the end, I built quite a bit of stars or whatever. At some point in time, I said, okay, that's enough. And decided to take some time off to just go exploring and wandering and stuff like that. Like I say, many people had forgotten about me or didn't know about me, except for a few people. Anyway, it's ridiculously, like I would say, you either, when you find out who I truly am, you will either run screaming or you will embrace me and love me forever. Or just love me and want to be with me. And many other people like Lee Harvey Oswald or whoever would say, I don't know what the point is of coming up or selling or you're praising this guy or whatever just to deny him and kill him, because like I said, they kind of helped, my reputation out a little bit or something like that. But I mean, realistically, it's more the Belfast people and the Irish people and the Scottish and some of the other people that were really doing it. And besides, like I said, when you search history and everything else like that, and you actually go back and see and know, like, it's true. These things were actually given, and not just Lucifer Starlines, but also me, Brian, commemorating my vacation as well. Or something like that. I don't know. It all gets kind of gargly gooked up. Mostly because Jimmy Carter and a few other people were like, I'll never die, I'll never grow old, the truth will never be known. And when I sit behind the desk, I'm you, and they don't know you anymore, blah, blah. And I can do whatever I want to you, he was saying. And like I said, he tried to stick me inside his body or tried to give me his memories or some shit like that. He thought he was that powerful. And I was like, no, get away from me, you sick psycho. And then Rodney was going around, pretending like I possessed him or pretending like I like he was doing things for me or something like that. And it's like, Rodney, no, you're not me. I've never been you. And then Rodney was trying to say that he was me later on in life. And it's like, Rodney, I'm not you. I'm never going to be you. I don't act like you. I never will act like you. So, and you worked for me. I hired you. Remember? First class, first cadet, whatever. We had a meeting because Rodney was trying to say that I was him in X amount of years. Like it's like, when are you going to stop trying, dude? Like, no. I didn't go through the future and then come back and blah, blah, blah. Just because you heard about my stuff. Like, he was trying to say that he was me, in some later time or some other time or something. It's just craziness. It's like, no, I'll tell you my memories. I know my memories. I know how my existence. And then there's all these guys running around, like, and all these, all these girls that thought they had sex with me and stuff like that. And it's like, no, I don't know who you had sex with, but it was not the real Lucifer Star. It might have been a star or a star person or a star employee. I had many people that worked on my ships. I had many people that worked in my yards. I had many actors and actresses and stuff like that. So you probably had sex with one of the people that worked for me, but you didn't actually have sex with me. So I'm sorry. Lots of girls were like, I'm like, no. There were a few people that got married to me or gave their life and their will over to me because some sick lord or leader or something like that wanted to have sex with them, and they were like, no, we're saving ourselves. But it was a little joke between the girls and me, because they knew what I was or who I was or where I was and knew that they couldn't have sex with me. I was like, well, just tell them that you're saving yourself for me, and then basically change your mind. I mean, at some later point in time when you meet someone you really do want to be with. Because there are all these leaders or lords or whatever, or people wandering around saying like, no, it's the law. You have to submit yourself to me, and blah blah blah, or submit yourself to the chosen few, whatever board or council. It's like, yeah, men are really pathetic and losers. Okay, but we know that. So anyway, that's what all that was about. I mean. But more than that, my religious organizations, my people, they were my nuns, they were nurses, and my priests or whatever were doctors, and the thing was that they're doctors, and I also gave them like a thing of rules to follow, and they also did like some arbitration or something like that sometimes, they would work things out, or something like that. Anyway, they were paid employees, they worked for me, just like the Costco employees of the ancient Romans. Costco. Like when you think about it and you understand like what's going on, and everything else, you'll start to understand that it's like it's just like in Demolition Man. Why all restaurants are Taco Bell? I mean, it's like my people lived, and we had doctors and nurses and a lot of people. I mean, even before I actually started, like I finally, after a long time, I was like, I want to make a company that's just me. So I founded a company, Lucifer Starlines, you know, and realistically, I was a mining and shipping company. We did steam power stuff. You know, we had steam engines and stuff like that, and I had some inventors, and my people really liked to work for me. My people love to work, you know, in my factories and in my mines and work around, because like we were a conglomerate, you know, we just did what works, you know. And the Irish would say that too. It's like, well, there's a pecking order and a hierarchy, but you know, we just do what works, you know. We don't really worry about that too much around here. You know, it's true. Like my people were really freedom. Like even when we did prisoners or whatever, you know, all the prisoners were, unless the prisoners were a problem to other prisoners, like if you're going around beating on prisoners, or if you're going around trying to rape the girls, like then you'll get shackles or something like that put on you, you know, just to like, you know, slow you down or stop you, you know, until you can behave, and then you get them taken off, you know. But other than that, you know, you don't get chained to a wall or like whipped or anything else like that. Like my people wouldn't do that, and I wouldn't let that happen. They knew how I felt. So anyway, there's all this shit that's going on, you know, and like I say, a few people. Well, the thing was that Jimmy Carter, Richard Nixon, and a lot of these other people, they knew they were fucked. Unless I had actually lived in their life or inside of their body or done something like that, they're fucked. They were completely and totally fucked over. You know, they would be found for the liars and the piece of shits that they were, and they were just, you know, they were calling people spy and imprisoning people and basically just doing some really horrible things. You know, like Nixon or someone, or JFK was firebombing China or something like that, or firebombing all these cities. Like I say, I don't really know. Like, you'll have to ask the Chinese. They were actually doing a much better record keeping of everything, and they showed the pictures and said, look, these are the pictures. And like the American government or the Congress was trying to get the pictures removed and destroyed and stuff like that. Korea basically dedicated itself to truth and the accurate record keeping. You know, just like the Vatican. The Vatican was supposed to dedicate itself to accurate record keeping. A lot of my organizations were trying to just find out the truth and just write down the truth. But of course, JFK or Nixon basically, you know, they took over the Vatican and basically something at some point in time, and Jimmy Carter was like running the Vatican or something like that. I don't know. He was like doing all this religious thing and stuff. And like I said, we had incriminating DNA evidence that showed that he raped some girls that died right after they had sex, basically. And so he was making a public address, or he made a public address saying how he admitted it, you know. And I was going to go leniently on him and not torture him for a long time if he just admitted it and just came clean on it. You know. And like I say, later on, Jimmy Carter and Richard Nixon were like trying to pardon themselves, and they didn't have that authority. So, anyway, like I say, and trying to make the human race believe that you are alone. And you are so not alone. It's been 99 trillion years, dude. Like, do you really think you're alone? No. There are many of thousands of trillions of billions. You could almost pick any star in the night sky, and there's probably a life form there that's sentient and advanced, and probably more advanced than you. So, anyway, you know, it's just like time to wake up, people. You know, basically Rodney and Richard Nixon, a lot of other people, I don't know, they had this idea that they could fight their way to the future, or, you know, blah, 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 or use the military or the Earth's military or something. I don't know. Like wackos. Complete wackos. You know, I can't explain Rodney's actions. I can't explain what Rick Bush was doing. I can't explain what, oh, I'll be your eyes, your nose, your ears, and she'll be your ears or your sight, and what's her name will be your voice. It's like, I have a voice, and that's just about as crazy as Jimmy Carter or Richard Nixon sitting behind my White House desk saying, and when I sit down, I'm you. When I sit down, I'm you. And it's like, you're not me. You've never been me. You're never going to be me. I'm sorry, Richard Nixon, Jimmy Carter, and everybody else that sat behind the White House desk. You're not the Lucifer Star that owns that house. Never will be. I'm me. And I'm the only me that I'm going to be. I'm not going to possess someone else's body. I'm not going to live another life. So yeah, and Abraham Lincoln was a sick fuck. Okay, yeah, that made rules that said that women for 35 cents or more had to cement their ass to his whatever, and he would go around to girls saying, "I'll give you $2 for sex," or I'd give people $1 or something just to talk to me, or something like that. I just like people just to talk to me. I was paying people just to have a conversation with me because I like to listen to them. I like to hear what their life was like. Anyway, though, but Abraham Lincoln was like paying. He would go up to girls and be like, "I'll give you $2, or I'll give you $1," and $2 was like the equivalent of $100 back in those days, or $1,000 or something like that. And he never actually gave a girl $1. Like he always tried to have them arrested or something like that, or tried to, I don't know. Like I said, someone else found him, and they were telling me how he had the same $2 on him. It had, well, originally it was a $2 bill. At one point in time, he did have a real actual $2 bill, but he had to break it up or something like that at some point in time. I don't know. Like I don't really know. This guy was fucking crazy. Like as one of my employees, as someone that was my catalog salesman or whatever, he could travel on my trains and stuff like that and go around, and he even had a little expense account, I think, or something like that, and he would go around modeling my clothes. Because we had clothes, and he was, he'd stand still for X amount of time, and there would be a picture taken and everything else like that, and he would wander around and show off the clothes, and also, give people out the catalog, sell the catalog or whatever else like that, and try, and make people aware of the market and stuff like that. That was his job. He was a spokesman for my company, like J.C. Penney or something like that. That's all he was supposed to be doing. And then I find out that he's trying to say that he owns the country or owns something, and later on is trying to have me killed and taking over my place and telling me how he's going to be taking my stagecoach or taking my train that night and would be in another town by the time I died. So, I mean, there's a lot of crazy fucking psycho people, and I said, well, it's not really gonna work. I mean, I'm just on vacation, and I mean, I'll just be back. Anyway, or whatever. So, I mean, like I say, I don't really care. I mean, I've been nuked. Abraham Lincoln got psycho on my ass, and like the Chinese or someone was going after him, and like they caught him or found him, and some black people, and like they were having like Civil War battles where they would bet like 30 gold or something like that on which slaves could kill which slaves. They would give like 20 people or 20 slaves guns, and then they would be like, all right, let's see who can shoot who first. So, and that's where the Chinese or someone caught up to them. And I don't really know. It's like I don't. It was crazy and psycho. So, all these people, having all these long range plans someday, and like maybe someone had told Abraham Lincoln that, I don't know, maybe it was wrong. I don't know. Anyway, but it didn't really work, and he actually ended up getting shot, and so did all his little brothers or something like that. Like I said, I had the first national or planet-wide manhunt for Abraham Lincoln, or you know, or him, and there was like 16 of them apparently, or something like that. He had look-alike Abraham Lincolns running around. So, I mean, it's just basically a top hat, a beard, and a suit. So not particularly all that descriptive. So anyway, and I had a bounty on him because, like I say, he was very bad, apparently. And apparently he had been raping women or having sex with lots of women and not paying them, or I don't know what he was doing. You'll have to ask his family or whoever was around him or with him. And he wasn't particularly attractive, and he was trying to create more life form like him or something like that. Make men like him, or men in his image, maybe. I don't know. I had a bunch of cowboys that came in and were dealing with the problem. A bunch of cowboys were like, yeah, well, there's like 1,000 of people like him down here or something like that. Like, yeah. And they were like dealing with that, and I don't know. You have to ask some cowboys or some people that were cleaning up the mess. Like I said, the French army was going after some people too. Like they were dealing with some problems. Like a whole bunch of just normal people just had to deal with these psycho freaks that were running around. So yeah, I mean, it's like as if Putin was like, I'll never die, I'll never grow old, the truth will never known, I'm ultimately powerful. But on the inside, I mean, I'd be like, go Putin, yeah, Vladimir takes the stage, do it. I mean, that's what they were doing back in the old days, like psycho freaks, you know, like Trumpy. Fire and whatever will come from the heavens. But I mean, Jimmy Carter was serious. He was fucking serious. He was gonna they were carpet bombing all of Europe, and all kinds of stuff, and doing all this psycho shit. And it's like, whoa, dude, what the fuck? Calm down. What the? Wow, what's going on here, man? What's going on? Seriously, who do you think you are? I'm on vacation. I'm Lucifer Starline. And I'm just on vacation, just living my first life as a small child, my first life among you, just as a normal person. So named Brian, citizen of America. And all this psycho shit happens, during my vacation. Rodney and Rosalie are trying to get access to my bank accounts or something like that, trying to use my $100 million vacation money, or someone's trying to use my $100 million vacation money to do stuff or something like that, to try and stomp me or I don't know. It's it's just my play money. It was just for my vacation, just for my childhood. I got more. I own countries and planets, and I'm the creator of life forms. People swore. Trying to say that there is space dust. It's space dust out there. And Rodney's saying that the Republicans are right, and the Republicans have our best interests at heart. And what they're doing is they're eliminating programs and just pocketing the money. They cut schools back. They'll cut back the budget for schools and say, well, we don't really feel that you really need $30 million for fuel or new buses. And then they take that money that would have gone for the new buses and they put it into their own fucking pocket. That's what they do. So instead of buying new buses and $30 million going for new buses, the $30 million goes into the Republican pocket. Oh, well, thank you. So the taxpayers still spend the money and they still lose out on the money, but there are no new buses. And realistically, I was just making the buses for the schools because I make cars and buses and aircraft. I'm a mining and shipping company, so there was no real money. They had to then go and sell those buses on the open market as if they were blah blah, but they were supposed to be going to schools or something like that. And the only time that I really got pissed off about that is one time in Mexico when basically some drug dealer came in and basically killed the teachers or killed a bunch of people, and then started using my buses as his little troop go-arounds. It's dude, those buses were for kids and schools. They are not for your fucking piece of shit warriors to drive around. And I got pissed off. And so I probably ordered my military to blow up the buses with the soldiers. And I think they might have gone and said, oh, you blew up kids. No, I did not. I blew up soldiers with guns that were driving the buses around in Mexico. When I give you 2,000 buses for schools in Mexico, and then you load up your shit fighters with AK-47s and start driving around like they're your private little military buses, I get pissed. I got mad. So that's what happened. Don't use school buses for military actions. Go buy some real fucking troop carriers, you piece of shit. Get a life. Try and be epic. I don't know who uses school buses to drive around his warriors. That should have been driving around kids. But some Mexican piece of shit did it. And I got really fucking pissed off. So anyway, that's what happened. And I hope they died. I'm sorry. You're a drug dealer? Leave the school buses at the school. Go to a car manufacturer, get some real troop carriers, and start driving around your troops in real APCs and troop carriers. Have a budget. Like, fuck. So it pissed me off. It really pissed me off. Like, what kind of military are you anyway? Besides, you're a disgrace to the fucking world. Like, who does that? Everybody else is driving armored vehicles and this and that. And there's guacamole. Beep, beep. In school buses. Like, what? You thought that they thought, oh, wait, oh, it's not a war. That couldn't be a drug lord or some army. That's got to be school. They're school buses, so they got to be kids, right? I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to like call you a sack of shit and also belittle you right now. Yes. Because, you know, I mean, I'm Lucifer Starline, you know, America, Germany, some part of Russia, and there's I don't know, Manuel. I'm sorry, I know. You're going to want to come up and put a bullet in my head, aren't you? Well, what can I say? You know, I mean, everybody knows about Germany, about my Abram tanks and everything else, real fighting vehicles, and then there's... I hope it was the Republican militia. I really do. But I'm gonna have to say right there. I mean, I found out about it, and like I said, I ordered the aircraft to blow up the buses. I said, well, if you see guns in those buses, blow them up. Roger that. It's supposed to be kids in those buses. Maybe next time they won't steal the buses from the schools. You think? Maybe, just maybe. Maybe they'll actually spend some money and get APCs. Like everybody else. I know it's not part of the Geneva Conventions Act that you're supposed to be driving around military vehicles and actually, you know, and maybe was that like the deluxe military vehicles? But they were school buses. They had district whatever, they were school buses, real school buses. And they're driving around kids or men with AK-47s and guns. Like, I had my people confirm that there were guns on board, and there were no children. So, anyway, yeah. So I ordered them blown up. And besides, they were my property. So they had nothing to say. They stole my property from my schools, or from the schools, and I took it back. So, yeah. You know, oh well.